Hello and welcome to another episode of Just Some Guy Earning Achievements, where I, just some guy, earn achievements. In the last part, we finally took down the Enclave and completed the main storyline. In this part, we will be taking on some side quests that award achievements, and what better place to start than the very vault we grew up in. Returning to Vault 101, we come across a distress call from Amada. She says that things have only gotten worse ever since we left and her dad has gone mad with power. She also reveals the door password, allowing us access to the vault we once called home. Inside, we are greeted by Officer Gomez, who catches us up to speed on what has happened. He leads us under the watchful gaze of the Overseer to Amada, who is ecstatic to see us. She tells us the vault used to be open, but her father refuses to let it open again. We tell her we'll stop her father without bloodshed, because violence isn't our style. Confronting the Overseer, he blames our dad for everything that has happened and calls us a fool for ever leaving the safety of the vault. Having become more diplomatic in our time spent in the Wasteland, we finally pass a speech check and convince him that there simply aren't enough people to stay in the vault forever. Realising the uncomfortable truth, he says he will step down as Overseer and allow Amada to lead in his place. We rush back to tell Amada, who is surprised by her father's resignation but happy for the future of the vault. She has one final request for us: to leave and never come back. Bit of a dick move, but we understand and once again leave Vault 101 behind us, earning the achievement Trouble on the Home Front. Next up, we head back to Megaton to deal with the undetonated atomic bomb in the middle of the town. We require an explosive skill of 25 in order to do anything, but currently ours is only at 13. We fast travel back to Paradise Falls and head west, eventually reaching the WKML broadcast station. Around the back, we find a grate to a sealed cistern, and inside there we find our 6th bobblehead, which will help us with the bomb. Returning to Megaton, our explosive skill is now up to 23, but still not high enough to do anything with the bomb. However, we take some mentats which boosts our skill up to 33 temporarily, enough to successfully disarm the bomb. Lucas Sims is so impressed that he gives us a deed to our very own home right here in Megaton. We also earn the achievement, The Power of the Atom. Still in Megaton, inside Moriarty's saloon, we come across Lucy West. She asks us to deliver a letter to her family in Arafu, so we head back out into the wasteland and are nearly blown up when we arrive in town. Evan King says they are in trouble from the family and need help. He asks us to check on the other residents. 2 of the 3 residents are fine, but when we go to check on Lucy's family, we find that they have been murdered. We return to Evan with the news and he confirms this is the work of the family. He asks us to find Lucy's brother Ian, who must have been taken by them. We agree and, thanks to the benefit of hindsight, come across the family's hideout in the metro tunnels. We find their leader Vance, who waxes lyrical about his people and how he saved Ian from becoming a mindless killer, but we convince him to let us deliver Lucy's letter. When we confront Ian, he says that nobody understands him except Vance and the family, but we successfully encourage him to return to Arafu. Before we leave the family, we return to Vance and propose a deal wherein he and the family protect Arafu in exchange for a supply of blood packs. Vance agrees and says to return once we have spoken to the people of Arafu, though spoiler alert, we won't be returning to Vance. Returning to Arafu, Evan King thanks us for our help and we earn the achievement Blood Ties. Before we leave Arafu for good, we sneak into Evan King's house and grab another bobblehead. Back in Megaton, it's time we took on the longest side quest of the game, the Wasteland Survival Guide. In fact, it is so long and arduous and I'm sure everyone watching knows what it entails, so I'm just going to give you the cliff notes. Chapter 1 has us become heavily irradiated, tiptoe through a minefield, and explore the nearby Super Duper Mart. In Chapter 2 we boop some mole rats, invade a Mirloke nest, and sustain some injuries. The final chapter sees us exploring the Arlington Library for their archives, navigating the Robco facility to install a widget, and diving deep into the history of Rivet City. Once all 3 chapters are complete, we finally earn the achievement, the Wasteland Survival Guide. During our time completing that quest, we also unlock the 3 achievements relating to reaching level 14 with different amounts of karma. We return to Rivet City and upon speaking to Dr. Zimmer in the science lab, begin the quest, The Replicated Man. He wants us to find an android that escaped the Commonwealth and is supposedly settled here in Rivet City. He gives us a holotape and tells us to start by talking to Dr. Preston, who in turn gives us another holotape. Next up, we speak to Seagrave Holmes, who tells us the android is real and gives us another holotape to listen to. After that, we track down Sister, who has also been hired by Zimmer to track down the android. He doesn't give us a holotape, so we break into his room and find one sitting on his table. From there we head to Pinkerton and the broken off bow. He tells us the android is Harkness and provides all the evidence we need to prove it. He also gives us the recall code that will help restore his memories. With all this newfound information, we confront Harkness and tell him the truth. He doesn't believe us at first, but after using the recall code he remembers everything, and we earn the achievement, The Replicated Man. Still in Rivet City, we pay a visit to the Capital Preservation Society. We meet the curator of the museum, Abraham Washington, who says his collection is missing one vital document, the Declaration of Independence. Naturally, we agree to retrieve it, and he tells us it can be found in the National Archives. Heading back to the mall, we discover the National Archives but opt to enter through the rear. Navigating through the levels, we eventually earn 2 miscellaneous achievements. Keys are for cowards after picking our 50th lock, and Slayer of Beasts for killing our 300th creature. Deeper into the archives we come across Button Gwinnett, guardian of the Declaration. He warns us that he is well versed in the ways of the spy, but by a stroke of luck we are able to convince him that we are in fact Thomas Jefferson. We convince him the war is over and tell him to take a well-earned vacation. With the document in hand, we return to Abraham Washington, who is in disbelief. He rewards us for our efforts, and we are awarded the achievement Stealing Independence. We venture back out into the wasteland and stumble across Big Town. Apparently there have been a spate of kidnappings by nearby super mutants from the police station in Germantown. We agree to rescue the captured townsfolk, though Pappy seems unconvinced, probably because this is a quest you generally do early on in the game when super mutants still pose a threat. We head north to the Germantown Police HQ and once again opt to enter through the rear. Inside we come across Red, who has been locked in a jail cell. We promptly free her and she thanks us for doing so, but mentions Shorty may still be alive downstairs in the kitchen. We agree to rescue Shorty as well, and after a quick trip to the kitchen and a dead super mutant later, we find Shorty alive. We untie him, return to Red, and all of us hightail it back to Big Town. Once back in town, Red thanks us for being a hero, but warns us that the mutants are planning to retaliate. However, before we decide how best to deal with them, we earn the achievement Big Trouble in Big Town. Of course we can't leave the town undefended, so we reactivate some nearby robots and stop the retaliating mutants in their tracks. With a good chunk of the side quests completed, that'll do for this part. Thank you kindly for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and if you want more achievement related content, consider subscribing. Hopefully you join me again for the next part where we finish up all the remaining side quests. Until then, take care.